Dear friends, our English talk is going on. Continue. In the last episode, I spoke to you about a book written by a famous historian Indian, Ramachandra Guha, on the history of India after independence. Under the heading History of India after Mahatma Gandhi. In the last episode, I explained to you how he was convinced to write the book. Once he was convinced, he had to start writing the book. You know, if a writer decides to write a book, the first thing he does is he look for resources. Obviously, any writer, whoever, he looks for the secondary resources, secondary materials. Secondary material means any books, any article already written on the same topic. But in the case of the history of India after independence, no books were available at that time. It means nobody didn't write any book on the same subject. So much so, the history of India after independence had not yet been made a branch of history. The history of India after independence had not yet been made a branch of history. Can you guess? Ramachandra Guha says if he was commissioned to write a book on the history of any European country, he would have ordered for 500 books. And the books would have come. Because there were plenty of books written on the history of Europe. Each country separately. But in the case of India, not even a single book was available at that time. That is why he looked for primary materials, primary resource materials. Primary materials means, it must be laying somewhere scattered, not collected. In the case of this, the history of India after independence, raw materials were there, primary materials were there, but they were scattered. A few materials were there in the Parliament of India in the form of speeches. Speech of Jawaharlal Nehru, speeches of Ambedkar, speeches of our first Home Minister, Vallabhbhai Patel, and a few other materials were available in museums in UK. So he had to travel to UK and try and find out the materials there. And a few other materials were available in the museum of Jawaharlal Nehru. Finally, Ramachandra Guha collected all the materials. He read it, he did research, he segregated the topic under hundreds of headings, and he completed the writing of the book in March 2002. Another important point Ramachandra Guha has said in the book is he was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmingly happy because all the historians, writers, journalists, especially who were in the Europe, had predicted India wouldn't survive. India wouldn't go ahead. India would collapse as a nation, but India didn't. So he was very much happy to write a book on the history of India after independence. Dear friends, we will meet again with another episode. Thank you.